What this picture really tells us about Camilla's quiet triumph. Richard K. reveals how the Duchess finally may have won the Queen's respect. All over the world yesterday, that birthday photograph of Prince Charles and his family was being analyzed with both affection and fascination. On the Clarence House Twitter account alone, the comments that poured in from every corner of the planet fixed on the warmth and happiness that radiated from the smiling faces. Certainly with its juxtaposition of 3 future kings and 1, possibly 2, queens in waiting, it offered an intriguing glimpse of the future. Taken barely 3 months after Prince Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle, the picture is also eloquent testimony to the enthusiasm with which the American former actress has been welcomed into the royal fold. Above all, it shows 3 generations of royalty all very comfortable with one another, which, considering the journey they have undergone to reach this point, is remarkable indeed. No journey has been more uncertain and more dramatic than that of the Duchess of Cornwall. And for many the image that resonates the most from this gathering of Charles's clan is that of his wife with her arm around 3-year-old Princess Charlotte while pointing at something off camera. Doubtless there will be some who will be uneasy at the sight of the former Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles cradling Princess Diana's granddaughter. Yet the body language of the adults around her, particularly of the relaxed and informal William and Harry, indicates not just warmth but acceptance. The message it conveys is that if they, Diana's sons, think it is entirely natural for Camilla and her step-granddaughter to be knee-to-knee, then everyone else should, too. Certainly it's a picture that few would have thought possible a decade or so ago. Today it would seem churlish for anyone in royal circles to harbor resentment against a woman who is 71 and who has, quite obviously, settled comfortably into a public role that arrived late in life. Of course the friends and admirers of the late Princess of Wales find the ease with which Camilla has been welcomed into royal life as Diana's replacement hard to swallow. That she is central to Prince Charles's life is without question. But the woman whom he famously said was non-negotiable is now also at the heart of the royal family. In the absence of Prince Philip for the Remembrance Day at the cenotaph, it was Camilla who was at the Queen's side and on hand to offer fortifying words during the ceremony. In fact, the Queen has come to depend on her. She has been quietly impressed by the showy way Camilla has of going about her royal duties. Camilla doesn't like grand appearances for their own sake and is not competitive with other family members. Younger royals, please take note. Friends say Camilla couldn't be happier that the spotlight falls far more on Kate and Meghan than it does on her. But then even as a child, Camilla would avoid the limelight, happily letting it fall on her more outgoing younger sister Annabelle. The Queen thinks that for Charles to be a successful monarch, he needs someone to support him, as Prince Philip has done so brilliantly for her over the past 7 decades. After more than 13 years of marriage, Charles and Camilla have become an accomplished double act. Encouraged by the prince, her confidence on the public stage has grown. Last week's appearance on the BBC documentary to mark the prince's 70th birthday, from which she emerged with positive public feedback, revealed another facet as she fondly praised her husband. And it can surely be no coincidence that all those doubts raised first by Diana about Charles's suitability for the throne have largely subsided in the years since Camilla has been his wife. Perhaps her greatest success has been her diplomatically hands-off approach to William and Harry. She avoided the pitfalls of the interfering stepmother and offered counsel only if it was sought. Her political antennae are pretty sharp, says a close figure. She knew that stepping into Diana's shoes was one thing, but then to assume her role as mother to the boys would have been positively inflammatory. She let them know she was there if they ever wanted advice, but never tried to impose it on them. There were probably times when Charles wished she had, but the relationship with the boys has come out that much stronger as a result of her not getting involved. Having raised 2 children herself, food writer Tom and Laura, who helps run a boutique in Berkshire, she would certainly have had some tips to impart. Both are incredibly grounded and emerged remarkably unscathed from the breakup of her marriage to Parker Bowles and the fallout over her long affair with the Prince of Wales. Camilla adopted the same unpushy strategy when it came to Charles's grandchildren, and pointedly, during last week's documentary she spoke of the prince's involvement with her grandchildren. She has 5. She did help out with both Kate and Meghan as both women struggled to get to grips with the awesome reality of life as a royal princess. For Kate, who appreciated the advice, There was a very public lunch in a London restaurant. Meghan was invited to a more private tête-à-tête at Clarence's house. Timing, they say, is everything, and Camilla's role in her husband's 70th birthday celebrations have been noted by her mother-in-law. It was Camilla, I understand, who organized the guest list and the placement for the dinner for 300 in the palace ballroom. In her highly moving and heartfelt tribute to her son at a Buckingham Palace party last night, where the Queen proposed the toast to the prince's birthday, she singled out Camilla. After cherishing Charles's role as a champion of conservation, she acknowledged his role as a father before adding, most of all sustained by his wife Camilla, he is his own man, passionate and creative. Such maternal generosity surely signaled that the deep frost that descended on her relationship with her son, largely over the unraveling of his first marriage and later over his stubborn refusal to give up Camilla, has now vanished. And for that, much is due to Camilla herself. Ever since the 2005 wedding day when the Queen memorably welcomed the newlyweds, in racing parlance, into the winner's enclosure, the Duchess has worked tirelessly to win both public respect and that of the monarch. In close to 14 years she has scarcely put a foot wrong, to the relief of the Queen. So back to that picture and what it means. Happy families, certainly, and Camilla glowing with confidence. But it also helped pave the way for Charles to be granted the authority he has long craved, the public endorsement from his mother that she delivered so eloquently last night. Royal photographs seldom say very much, but once in a while one comes along that says everything. Judy says, Kate's confidence and family status signals do seem to have increased since Meghan arrived and Louis was born. Louis shows all the signs of being a very happy and possibly easy baby, and Kate tends to beam with pride as she holds him aloft without any of the common anxiety signals that a first or second-time mum can exhibit. She carries him here with no attempt to share parental duties, and there's something about her upright pose and symmetric confident smile that places her in the role of team leader in the family group. Prince William displays the sort of subliminal mirroring skills with his wife that have always been a hallmark of their relationship, Judy explains. This suggests like-minded thinking as well as a strong affection between the couple, who are months away from celebrating their 8th wedding anniversary. Judy adds, William matches his wife's smile, but it's Kate that shows more independent confidence here, with her 2 eldest children happily at ease in the front row. Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex, 37, announced they are expecting their first child together next spring upon arriving in Sydney for their royal tour last month. However, Harry's behavior in the family photo, taken in the gardens of Clarence's house over the summer, suggests the couple might have already known the news. These two show they're still in the flirty stage of their marriage, with Harry's hand placed quietly on his wife's upper hip, Judy notes. There's something a little smug-looking about his closed-mouth smile and piercing, fun gaze though, which could hint that they were busting to share some good news at this point. The difference between the formality of the two photos is most evident in Meghan's body language, Judy observes. She could also be seen to be giving unconscious signals that she already knows she is pregnant. Judy says, while Harry looks like the most relaxed royal here, Meghan begins by adopting a super-elegant regal pose with one hand placed across her stomach in what could have been another hint at her existing or impending pregnancy. When she leans forward laughing, she pulls away from Harry to share the moment with the royal children in the front row, hinting where her key focus was at that point. Judy points out how Charlotte's behavior is reminiscent of Princess Anne's when she was of a similar age. However, Prince George appears far more lively and extrovert than his granddad Prince Charles did as a child. She continues, George is much more like his own father was as a child, blending signals of what can look like shyness with typically fun and naughty behaviors. He looks keen to escape his granddad's knee here, but overall Kate's calm and proud-looking smile and William's focus on the camera suggests both their older children are lively but ultimately well-behaved. Birthday boy Charles has a tempered smile in the more formal portrait, making him appear happy but almost reluctant about all the attention. But the main message the future king is communicating is one of power, according to Judy. She says, he quietly emphasizes his status with a wide leg splay and consistently formal body posing. Camilla uses pronounced signals of reserve or shyness, with a very self-diminished body pose with her arms pulled into her torso, her legs held straight together and her head slightly dipped. Judy explains, However, her steepled hand position hints at the kind of upper hand, backseat driver dominance that we spotted in Charles's birthday documentary. Her hands form a precision gesture that suggests careful and strategic thinking, but at the same time this is also a self-calming ritual that suggests she gets still slightly wary about her public profile. She adds, "It's easy to see which of the two of them is easiest with the grandkids." While Camilla hugs and chats with Charlotte, Charles appears far more tentative and awkward from the way he's holding George around the ribs. Charlotte sits on the far right of the photo on the bench next to the Duchess of Cornwall. In the second, more informal shot, she snuggles in close to a delighted Camilla. Judy observes, Charlotte seems more than happy to sit in the front row with her arm out on the chair and with what seem like no worried glances to her mother behind her. She also snuggles up to Camilla quite happily and seems more than used to the camera.